As far as the eye can see, it's been a land of controversy, and today, peace reigns. Hi everybody, welcome to At Your Leisure. I'm Chad Booth, and today we are out with some community leaders and some locals who love the trail system out in the San Rafael Swell to take a look at life after the public lands bill. And to be honest with you, it looks every bit as good as it did before the public lands bill, except there's one other thing. There's certainty. So let's find out a little bit about what they've accomplished with this lands bill.
Since the land bill was passed, there was a lot of misunderstanding on the language of the land bill, what it meant. A lot of people interpreted it that everything was turned into wilderness, there was all the roads closed, there was no access. Since that's been passed, people have come to explore to find out what was closed, and they've found that really nothing has been closed.
For us, we had to see whether we were going to lose an arm, you know, if we ended up at the monument, or if we just lost a couple digits. And so we're satisfied. We've not seen any negative effects to our economy, to our lifestyle, to our recreation.
There's a misnomer that the swell's closed. It's not. There's not a trail closed in this swell that was open before the bill, is now open now, and will be open as long as we have good people fighting to keep those trails open.
I come to the conclusion that I wouldn't do anything different. The last 2 weekends, BLM has told us that we have 5,000 visitors on the wedge and down towards Swinging Bridge. And so that's a record for us. And if there's 5,000 people there, that means there's another 5,000 hidden out and around, riding ATVs and motorcycles and having a good time.
You know, a lot of things were basically thought that we were closed off to the public, basically. And, you know, this is public lands. We want to keep it public, but I think by this public lands bill, we're making a surety that it is kept open to the public.
Even though you have a lands bill in place, we still have to watch and make sure that everything ends up just like we wanted. And so we've hired a consultant in Washington, Cody Tucker, to help us do that. So the war goes on for us.
And with the signing of that bill and the implementation of the plan, it is true, and we've proven today, that there is a little bit of something for everybody. And this is the perfect junction to point it out, because on that side of that road is wilderness. On that side of that road is wilderness. In the great big area in between, all the way from here down to I-70, it's multiple use recreation land, designated and protected for that purpose. And there are roads that go through the wilderness areas to connect you to the outside world. So it really has ended up being a painful, long, hard-fought, but worthwhile endeavor. Well, right now it's time for us to endeavor finding a new place for you to explore in our Where To. You could build a movie set and it wouldn't look any cooler than this. Welcome back to At Your Leisure. We're in an otherworldly place, the San Rafael Swell, with a bunch of locals and some of the local community leaders finding out about what life is like here after the public lands bill. And we're finding out a great deal. The best part of it all is that no matter what you do out here, it's fun. And there's a lot to see and a lot of history and a lot to do. Let's find out about it.
I love coming out here. It's a good place to get away from everything else. They're easy rides. There's some technical rides out here, but for the most part, all these trails are loops. They come back to a certain point. It's a day ride. You get home and you've had an awesome outing. When you bring people out here, this is open. We can camp there, or we can camp there, we can ride here, and some responses are, really? No way. You don't have to pay for anything? No, nothing. You get your gear, you get your supplies, you fill up, and you go on a day ride and you have a fun time.
There are a lot of challenging places out there still. We have improved some of the major trails that people like to travel, that a lot of novice people will want to go on, and they can. But there are still a lot of really difficult, tough terrains for those who like to have that experience also.
Well, to me, the monuments is them old cabins that the Swayze brothers lived in. I mean, they lived out there with their cattle because, you know, it's a day's ride back to town on a horseback. So it's quite interesting. A lot of history out here. Of course, Butch Cassidy and the Wild Bunch roamed this area, and this was one of their hideouts, one of many, I suppose.
I can't tell you how many times that you will see Spanish writings, Native American writings, and sometimes you'll see pictographs and pictographs, which would indicate that there's been 3 different eras of people over a period of thousands of years take that same place. It's that same trail. And it is true all throughout our country.
It seemed like every time you come around a bend down here, you run across some unique feature. This is called the drip. Now, in the biblical times, this would have been like some kind of miracle, because out of this cliff of dry rock, there's this one spot that water just appears. And it makes its way from down here to a stream. And of course, cattle and the wildlife have all found out about it, and they make it a regular. But this is just really remarkable. And I got to tell you, this is something that if you bring your family out here and you've got young kids, they will remember this moment for the rest of their lives. I know, because I brought my kids out here when they were young, and they're adults now, and they still talk about the water that came out of a rock. Of course, it might have to do that I made up some wild, harebrained idea about what it really was, but they still remember it, and they still talk about it. So create those family memories. Right now, though, it's time for us to step away from here for yet another memory to be made in our Along the Way. You know, when you're out in the desert, out in the San Rafael Swell, you find all kinds of things, big things, gargantuan things, little things, tiny things, like a needle. Like that is Needle Arch. And you know what? If you were driving by and you blinked, you'd miss it. It's just a sliver of an arch off of the end of a rock formation. Well, we've had a lot of fun out here. In fact, we've eaten well. Our lunch today was provided by B&K in Huntington. Now, B&K, their sandwiches are huge. I mean, I won't need dinner tonight, so Ria, don't worry about making me any. Anyway, right now it's time for us to get off to our weekly business. We've got a sticker winner for you. Okay, this week's contest winner was submitted to us on Facebook. It's Lee Warnken. Congratulations, Lee. It looks like you're the winner of a $400 gift certificate to Rifab. Rifab offers the best custom metal fabrication for your rig. Visit rifab.com for more details. Be sure to call us on Monday at 801-947-8888 to claim your prize. Now, let's take a look at our Trail of the Week. This week's Trail of the Week is the Vernon Cherry Creek section of the Prospector Trail. The Prospector Trail system is located in Tooele County and covers approximately 700 miles. To get more information or to see this or any of the other trails we've covered on the Trail 360 project, visit outsiders.zone. Now, let's take a look at next week's show. Next week, Kevin and Gina are getting out of their comfort zone and heading north to show off some great hiking trails located right here on the Wasatch Front. Remember, Salt Lake is a vacation to them. Then, the ride of the Butch Cassidy Loop continues as we head back out to Antimony to pick up where Kevin and Gina left off and ride through Garfield County over to Loa. It's part 2 of our 3-part trail ride, so be sure not to miss it. Finally, we're getting back out on the trail with Stedmans as we join them for a fun-filled family celebration and, as always, a good time out in the desert. Well, look, next week's show looks like it's going to be a good one, but it really cannot beat today being out in the swell with all these swell folks. That's kind of a corny joke. I'm sure you guys have all heard it before. Anyway, we'd like to thank a special thanks to Sidetracks Rentals here in Farron for setting us up with the machines. And you know, you might think about it, you don't have to trail your own machine down here. You just hop in one of theirs, rent one for the day. They can set you up, get you out on the trail, tell you where you need to go, and so you have a real memorable occasion. Thanks to the commissioners, thanks to the senator, thanks to Brett for setting things up, and thanks to State Parks for maintaining a wonderful OHV system here in the state. So as we say every week, there is adventure around every bend. Just got to get up off the couch and get out there, create your own adventure at your leisure. Hey, can we go again?